Okay, the Lindisfarne Gospels have three images associated with them, and they are early medieval Europe. So after the fall of Rome and from about 500 to 1500, Middle Ages. So the context of this was just like connected to the fall of Rome here, these Germanic groups, the Angles, the Saxons, they moved into Britain, into England. And as they moved here, their culture of animal and this interlace style, like this, almost like metal filigree style, um, mixed with Christianity. And it came out on the page, on the written page, to look like what you see here, right? This filigree, which is a term used to describe the material of the work. So filigree, interlace style, and it comes from the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes moving over here into England. So it's called Lindisfarne because Lindisfarne is this island area. It's actually kind of like a peninsula. Here's England, and when the tide is high, the little walkway over here is covered. But when the tide goes down, then there's a walkway connecting this little islandish area with England. So it's technically not an island. It's kind of a peninsula island. So this is called Lindisfarne or Farne, and it also called a holy island because there was a monastery here, and the Lindisfarne monastery was dedicated to making illustrated manuscripts. And these are rewrites of the copies of the Bible, but they're illustrated in this beautiful, with beautiful artistic fashion here. Another title for the art that came out of this era when the Angles and the Saxons were moving in is called insular art, and insular means island. So when we talk about insular art, we're talking about Ireland and England, Scotland and Wales included in there too. It can also be called Hiberno-Saxon art. Hiberno is another name for Ireland. Never knew that. And then, of course, the Saxons who moved into England. So lots of vocabulary there. And then the guy who specifically did this writing is the Bishop of Eadfirth. And he wrote this Lindisfarne Gospel for God and for Saint Cuthbert. Who is Saint Cuthbert? I bet you're wanting to know. Here he is. Saint Cuthbert was a missionary and evangelical member of Christianity who was out spreading the word of Christianity. When he wasn't talking to people about Christianity, he often lived like a hermit, so very removed from people and very introspective and meditative, studying Christianity, trying to be the best that he could be as a Christian. And his relic, right, bones from his body were kept at Lindisfarne Monastery. And when Vikings invaded the monastery, what's the date for that? 793. So 100 maybe and 50 years after the Lindisfarne Gospels were written, the relics of the bones of Saint Cuthbert and the Lindisfarne Gospels were somehow saved from the Vikings. Okay, so the form of Lindisfarne Gospels. You should think of the Merovingian fibula here because the design is super similar, and there's a good reason why, right? because we're talking about the Germanic tribes and their metal work, metal smithing, their filigree, which we see in the fibula, and we're seeing it here in this writing, right? So we take a little blow up a little piece of this, and it looks like this, which is small, complex, painstaking design. That's filigree. It's abstract. It's maze-like. We don't know where this thing is ending. It's complicated. It's interlaced. All right, that's kind of the bulk of it, right? But if we step back, we can see that there's a cross here, and the cross is like stacked wine glasses, right? You can see this kind of goblet affair here, goblet here, and here would be the base, right? And then two upside down goblets, making the form of a cross. Also want to point out that if we look closely at these interlaced, interlocking, abstract maze-like figures, they look like snakes, right? That are eating. So you don't know the beginning, you don't know the end of where the snakes go. Imagine drawing this, man. This takes some serious eyesight. Okay, it's also done on vellum. Vellum is calf skin, right? You scrape off the hair, you pull it taut, you rub it maybe with some sort of local chemicals, rocks, scrape it, and you have vellum. Lasts for a long time. Okay, content here. This is called a cross carpet page, and it's a page with no writing on it. And instead, it's got decoration, very expensive decoration, right? This would be garnets, lots of stone, probably maybe some lapis lazuli inlaid here. The function of it is that it prepares you. I mean, you can think of people praying on carpets, right? Is Muslims pray on a carpet, and it's like a holy spot, and it removes you from the common ground, and it sets your mind in the mood of prayer. And that's what these cross carpet pages would do. Now, there's a cross carpet page for each of the four gospel writers: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And all four of these men were evangelists, right? Speakers who spread the word, the good news about Jesus. And each of them is featured in the Lindisfarne Gospels. So here is St. Luke. St. Luke, each of them has a portrait page, right? A picture of the saint, excuse me, or the saint and the gospel author. And if you're not necessarily a reader, you could look at this saint and you would, so the function would be you go, oh yeah, that's St. Luke. And right, I can tell that from the form. It's a guy who's sitting down and he's got a pen in his hand, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Let's see which one. This guy's got a pen in his hand. He's got a fancy border. He's wearing red or purple robes. And this is the sign of somebody who is super important, right? And if you didn't know he was important, all you have to do is look at this halo, and we'll move on because that's content. More form here is his name is actually written. There's Lucas. Okay, so content-wise, this halo says this is an important person. And the robe I've already mentioned indicates he's important. But then looking up here, what is this? We got a calf, right? And it's got these blue wings. So that calf indicates Jesus on the cross, right? A calf is a pretty delicate animal. It's innocent and being given up for the good of mankind. And here in its forelegs is this green like book, and that is a sign of Luke. That's kind of the icon for Luke, is that calf with wings and the green gospel. Okay, now we have St. Luke's incipit page. It's our third piece here. And incipit means it begins. And so this is going to be the first several words. It's actually a line of Luke's gospel. So let's look at the form here. We see lots of dots, right? Look at all these, lots of red dots. This is actually lead. Don't lick it. Don't eat it. So these dots are surrounding letters, like here, the letter U. But they also, right, they serve to highlight this negative space. The letters N, I, A, M are being surrounded by positive red dots, and that makes negative space here shining through. Super fancy colors. Okay, in content, if you looked really close, right, intricate gilt work and filigree, you'd see, right, look at all these orange lines going around. Well, in the middle of these orange lines, we have these, are they birds, right, in here? Or are they snakes? They look more like birds to me. If you look here, certainly these are birds, and they're intertwined going down the border of this incipit page. And here is a feline, right? And here's a foot. And that foot, I think, is from it's from a bird, right? So this intertwining of snakes, birds, feline is that Germanic tribe feel. Okay, so final content thought here is that this is a Q. This is the letter Q, and it's going to start Latin. The Bible was written in Latin initially, although the bishop here, he also included some English. And so that is the local language, the local dialect, and so local people could read it as well. So the Q starts the first line, Latin, quoniam, quidem, multi, conti, sunt, ordinare, narrationem. Okay, I'm not a good Latin reader. I need my mom here. And that translates to, as many have taken it in hand to set forth an order. Whoa, that's the start of that gospel. Incipit page. All right, that's the Lindisfarne Gospels, and I hope you combine them with the fibula, the Merovingian fibula in your mind. Early medieval art.